live in a culture today where everybody wants the reward without meeting the standards. And so I think we're going to see a shift in that because everybody's fed up with this. We're fed up with everyone having an ignorant voice that really has no backbone to it. And then political governments and everybody else readily accepts it because we want to be inclusive. Let's not hurt. Gentlemen, what's going on? It is a chilly, cold morning here in the Midwest. We had mid-70s for Christmas, and now it's in the single digits. It's crazy, but that's the weather here, up and down. You never know what it's going to be. Have you ever been in a dire situation? Imagine being in the middle of the war where it is life or death. Imagine being in the middle of the desert where you're dying of thirst and you just don't know if you can go on. I'm sure at one time or another, and it may be not in that drastic of a measure, that we've been in there certain situations where it'd be easier just to lie down and give up. I can't go on anymore. Just take me, death. But in those situations, there's always that other voice that says, get up. Quit being a little bitch. Get up. Take another step. Get up with some integrity. One more step. One more round. It's that will to live. Those people that shared their stories where they were stranded in the middle of the wilderness and they wanted to give up. They were tired. They were drained, but there was something within them that urged them onward. Those stories of men in combat that said it wasn't for me, it was for the men to the left and right of me. There was this will, this innate, almost supernatural power that drove me onward. We all have the ability to get in touch with that. And I think for the most part, we live in a culture today that's readily accepts this impoverished will to just get by. This comfortable will that says, I'm not going to push myself too much because I'm comfortable right here. I'm not going to push the agendas and norms of society because they're comfortable. And as men, we've lost that inner nature, that will to be more, that will to compete, that will to add value and substance to our life. We've surrendered that for just getting by. There's no will to live. There's no will to be more powerful. There's no will to master self. We just hand that over, and before we know it, we're dying of thirst in the desert, looking around thinking, why? It's because we've given up our ideas, our beliefs. We've given up the standards that enable us to be more, and we just kind of accept the status quo. The status quo is going to leave people in midlife crisis. It's going to leave you with regrets. It's going to leave you with doubts, confusion. It's going to leave you without an identity. And as men, I believe that's what we're searching for today. I know that's what I'm striving afterward, to be more capable, to be more upright, to be more noble, to be more strong, and in essence, to be more man and not the child that I surrendered to for so long. And we live in that kind of moral amnesic state today where everybody's kind of relinquished the traditions, the conventions that have helped sustain this comfortable society, civilization that we live in. Nobody has any more will to push onward. We've surrendered that to the new shiny objects. We've surrendered to that, to the mass consumerism. We've surrendered that to the social media ideology that let's just stare at this screen and compare myself to them and that, and go to sleep at night in misery thinking of the things that I don't have instead of the things that I do. If we want to recourse this, if we want to begin to find that will to live, we're going to have to get an exclusive honor code, an exclusive system that fits us. We're going to have to find that will to live, that will to become more, that's going to drive us towards something. And again, that's exclusive, because this inclusive state that we live in, where everybody can be anything and everything's okay, there's no honor code in that, right? An honor code is something that we hold in esteem. An honor code is something that we strive for because it sets us apart. We've surrendered that in this inclusive state where everybody's equal and everybody's on a level playing field. And we wonder why we're so full of misery. We wonder why we're so filled of angst and bitterness and resentment. It's because we want to be more. We don't want to be confined to the limitations of being less than, which society imposes upon you, because it keeps you in that corral. It keeps you sedated and sedentary, where you're not moving forward to something better, to something more powerful. And as men, we've felt that sting, that impoverished state of not being able to live up to our full potential. And we're tired of that. We have that inner voice within us, that inner will to live, that inner will to become more powerful, that inner will to become our best version that resonates within us. And so we've got to begin to form this exclusive code around us, right? I said society has this moral amnesia where they've forgotten the conventions, the standards, the traditions that have helped society become the society that it is today. If we want men to find that man of antiquity that stood strong, that stood bold, that stand in those stoic virtues of wisdom and power and regulated emotions and strength and courage and temperance and wisdom, if we want to find that path again, we're going to have to set up some exclusive codes. And when you are exclusive, that means not everybody is included. And it's today's culture that's not politically correct. But again, let me tell you, we live in a culture today where they take pride in stripping away the conventions that have upheld society. They take pride in stripping away the morals, the values. They take pride in tearing down the statues that have built this society, and they don't replace them with anything. And so we see chaos. Everybody's included. Well, when everybody's included, there's no code of honor, because it's not an honor code if everybody can join. We have to set up some standards. We have to set up a will to be more. If you want to be more, you can join my club. If you refuse, then you can stay out there on your own and devour yourself. Society, men, we need to start forming these communities where this is the standard. We have a will to be more. We have a code of excellence that you have to meet these standards in order to enjoy the privilege. You do this, you get that. A, B, and C gets D. We live in a culture today where everybody wants the reward without meeting the standards. And so I think we're going to see a shift in that, because everybody's fed up with this. We're fed up with everyone having an ignorant voice that really has no backbone to it. And then political governments and everybody else readily accepts it because we want to be inclusive. Let's not hurt anybody's feelings in this participation trophy culture. Listen, life's not fair. Feelings get hurt. Life in general can be suffering. Life is hard. We have to get harder so that we find some purpose and meaning in that. And we're not the guys in the desert dying of thirst that just lie down and quit. We're not the guys in the middle of the war that just lie down, quit, give up, and it affects everyone else. We're going to have the backbone to stand up. This is what I stand for. I have a will to become better. I have a will to become stronger. And if you're not going to follow that, then you're going to get left behind. This is my circle. This is my circle of friends. We have like-minded ideas. This is the direction we're going. We're pushing each other. We're challenging each other. It's not inclusive. You have to meet the standards to enjoy the privilege of this code. And that's what this society's built upon. That's what strong men are built upon. They level up. They stand on this pedestal. They're above. And if you don't start doing the things that enables you to climb the rungs of the ladder to get to that ascended position, then you're going to fall behind. We live in a culture today where we want to drag everybody with us, but we see it dragging down society at large. I don't want to be a man that's dragged down by the lackluster mindset of everybody else around me. I want to form a circle, a code of honor of this is what we stand for. This is what we're doing to become better. Everybody's invited. Everybody's invited to enjoy in this will to live, this will to power, this will to become better versions, this will to tradition. But if you don't take the steps to get there, then you're on your own. Not everyone else gets the VIP access to this honor code and the privileges of. If you want to stand on the outside and begin to parade around less than ideologies that actually are not going to sustain any functional living, then so be it. These other communities are going to form their ideas, their beliefs, their ideologies, and they're going to devour themselves. They're not sustainable. There's no tradition in it. There's no backbone. There's no firm, rigid principles to it. It's just a trend of the day that's going to fade away because it cannot sustain society. So be it. This is the honor code. This is my will to live, my will to power. These are the boundaries that I have. These are the rules and guidelines. And people get kind of pushed off by that. Oh, you got rules and guidelines and you're inclusive. Well, listen, imagine having a kid You're at a swimming pool. It's dangerous. The kid could fall in, swim, hit his head, drown. There's a lifeguard. The lifeguard's there to enforce rules for safety so that everyone can function, everyone can enjoy, right? He tells the kid no running. Why? Because you fall down, you get hurt. He watches on the kids swimming so that no one's drowned. There's rules. You can't be just running out of line and everybody gets a chance on the diving board just because it's not fair that that kid was in line before me. And there's rules and guidelines so that no one gets hurt. If there was no lifeguard and you just let the kids go at it chaotic, everybody's doing backflips off the diving board, everybody's running around, kids just jumping in and choking each other, and everybody drowns because there's no rules, no guidelines, there's no lifeguard. We see that in society today. We've said the lifeguard, oh, he's oppressive. The lifeguard, he's racist. The lifeguard, he's a chauvinist. The lifeguard, she's a feminist. And we're breaking down all these rules and structures. The idea behind patriarchal society, the idea behind a hierarchical society. We're diluting the very norms of gender to where it's becoming this chaotic confusion. We see a lot of ideologies that are just pushing confusion. We see mass confusion. And again, whether that's intentional, unintentional, I'm not concerned with that. What we see is not a will to live, but just a will to get by, to keep up with the next person to you. A will to express my opinion, whether it has any substance to it or not, whether it has any facts behind it or not, whether it has any truth behind it or not. It makes me feel good, so it's my right to express it and spread it all over the world and thrust it into your face. But if you thrust your tradition, if you thrust your truth in my face, oh God, you're oppressive. We no longer live in a will to live society. We live in a will of it's not fair, I want it my way. That's not society. That's not the real world. Life is hard. There are going to be times that it feels like we're dying of thirst. And we can either lie there and cry around and say, poor pitiful me, I'm oppressed, or we can get the hell up, stand strong, stand firm in who we are, and have that will, that desire to live. This is 2022, a new year, and I think as men, we need to begin to implement that will to thrive, that will to live, that will to become better, that itch within us that needs to be scratched only by becoming better and adopting a mindset that says, I am man, what can I do to become better, stronger, financially capable, intellectually capable? How can I become stronger, sharper, and that solar mindset that looks above the negative illusions, the deceptions that society has imposed upon us? This is the year for you, man, to go inward, to figure out who you are, to begin to set up that honor code, that exclusive code. This is what I have to do to level up. And if I don't do these actions, I don't get there. It's not an all-inclusive honor code, or therefore it wouldn't be honorable. It's only honorable if you have to do something to get into the club. We need to see more exclusive codes of honor, and those men, those people, those not committees, but communities that saying, this is who we are. This is what we stand for. We're not lying down to your agendas and your imposed societal standards and mandates of what has to be truth. We create our truth according to our purpose, our direction. And we become strong. We become free. We become sovereign again because we choose our code, our honor, our standards, our guidelines, and it's not inclusive. Everybody's invited, but if you don't meet the standards, you don't get to enjoy the privileges. I love you guys. Choose the will to live. Choose the will to power. Become the man that you were created to be. Quit buying into the BS imposed upon the media, the government, the lazy guy next to you that says, oh, you can't do it. Just stay in your misery. You guys will hear from me next episode.